to strangers. Because even when the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury comes to read the budget speech, he does so under very clear terms and arrangements. But to allow every other Cabinet Secretary to be thronging into this house every other day, purporting to answer questions directly from members.
What's your point of order, Honorable Owen Bai?
I wish you would allow me to continue. You know.
Just 1 minute. Read, Honorable Speaker, Article 125.
Honorable Opiyo and I, you have been here long. Please take your seat.
You know, I am getting amazed.
Article 125 of the Constitution says, either House of Parliament and any of its committees has powers to summon any person to appear before it for the purpose of giving evidence or providing information. Parliament has powers to summon any member to do that, either in committee or as Parliament. Thank you.
Continue, Honorable Opiyo.
Let me continue. And obviously ignore him. Because if that were the case, then why are you amending the standing orders? If it was clear that you can summon them, and you are summoning them even currently under the standing orders, this is not summoning. This is something else. But Madam Speaker, let me say this. On a matter such as this, you need to be very, very sober-minded. Because if you go this route, that you think this is a directive from Suji, whatever party, then you will come to regret. We, under the current constitutional arrangement, there is no room for a cabinet secretary to come to the House. There's no room. There's no room. And if you want to create that room, amend the Constitution. And for you to amend it, you have to go back to Article 255. Because it goes to the core. It touches on the functions of Parliament. You have got no leeway to pass it through this House, even if you have 2/3 majority. You must go to back to the people. That is the plain truth. That's the plain truth. So, our position, my position as a member of Parliament for Ugunja, the position of my party, the Orange Democratic Movement, the position of my coalition, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, and indeed the position of, I believe, majority of Kenyans, is that this route is dangerous. And we must shun it. So I call upon those like-minded members to join me in rejecting these proposals for the good of posterity. For the good of posterity. If you want cabinet secretaries to be in this House, say so. Let's amend the Constitution. Let those cabinet secretaries be appointed from amongst you. You, members of Parliament. I will be happy, even if I'm on the back bench, to be engaging with cabinet secretaries in the House as my colleagues. I'll be very happy. But to meander, to go around, to gerrymander, no, no, we are not part of that gerrymandering. We refuse that invitation. We refuse it totally, totally. And therefore, I want to caution the relevant House committee that is dealing with those amendments, that those amendments, those proposed amendments to standing orders, are dead on arrival. And that if they come here, we should mobilize ourselves and reject them in toto. Because they are unconstitutional ab initio, Madam Speaker. No amount of patchwork can cure that mischief, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me conclude by saying that this House should be left alone to run its affairs. We don't want any interference from whatever quarter. Let this House run its affairs. And let this House maintain its independence. We may differ politically out there, which we should anyway. But when we come here, let's safeguard the credibility, the integrity, the independence of this House, and protect our Constitution. You know, we have said time and again that indeed there are defaults. Any constitution cannot be perfect. Even the American Constitution was amended. In fact, it was amended much earlier than ours. I'm sure Honorable Baya can recall the first amendment to the American Constitution, because we happen to have had some sojourn in that land. I don't know what we are doing there. I don't know. You have to tell me. So, Madam Speaker, so this is such a time that calls for bipartisan approach. Let me conclude. Madam Speaker, if you add me some 2 minutes to
Honorable
say something.
1 minute, please summarize.
Just true. Madam Speaker, as we do this, we must also reflect on where we're coming from as a country. In the recent past, we have had to contend with very, very, very unfortunate episodes. There is the recent remark by the Honorable Gachagua. You know, some of these remarks, some of those outbursts have got the effect of eroding the principle or the spirit of constitutionalism in this country. Madam Speaker, I was just looking at Article 27 of the Constitution. Honorable TJ, you can help me. Article 27, sub-article 4. And I may read it for avoidance of doubt. The state shall not discriminate directly or indirectly against any person on any ground, including, among others, conscience, belief, age, color, origin, and so on and so forth. So if you come out in the open and proclaim that the state is now going to adopt an official policy to discriminate against persons or regions in this country on the basis of how they voted, then what are you calling for? What are you inviting? You are asking Kenyans to start nursing other thoughts. That if I don't subscribe to a political thought, if I am not a shareholder in your so-called company, then I must look for ways of fending for myself, including refusing to obey rules, to obey laws, and to pay tax. Then you will be calling for the rule of the jungle. You will be calling for the state of anarchy in the country. That must be condemned strongly by every other member in this House, regardless of our political persuasions. If you find yourselves in a position of responsibility, regardless of how you found yourself there, you must ensure that you conduct yourself in a manner that gives honor to that office. You must shun those primitive tendencies, regardless of...
Thank you, Honorable Opiyo Wandai. Honorable members, I can see there is a lot of interest, especially on the CBC motion. We only have 14 minutes on this motion. I would ask that as many can be able to contribute. We keep it short. I'll give this chance to the Honorable Daniel Carrizo, MP for Igembe Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I stand to support this motion. The motion on CDF, the motion, Madam Speaker, there are a lot of noises. I don't know if
Continue, Honorable Carrizo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm standing to support this motion because it's a motion that is very important, especially on that gender rule. It's a motion that we will not avoid because it's in the Constitution. that we are all saying we want to uphold and protect. And we have no way but to support this motion so that the women, or rather the gender, be protected. On the issue of having the CSS coming in this house to answer questions other than the committees, I also support it, because what the committees will tell us is not what we will be told by the CSS. There, Madam Speaker, I stand to support. The issue of NG, CNDF, we also support and GAF, that they be protected in the Constitution. And this being the House of Legislation, I believe, Madam Speaker, the MPs have the capacity to handle the Constitution matters and make sure that all these issues are safely handled in the right manner and protected as per the Constitution. Now, Madam Speaker, I support all those amendments, and I stand to support. Thank you.
Member for Sotik, Honorable Sigei. Honorable Moses Kirema, Central Imenti.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to this important motion of amendment of our Constitution at this moment. Madam Speaker, it's the right time that we should come up with the amendment, since our Constitution has taken place since the year 2010 up to now, even though the said Constitution has not been implemented to the letter as it is supposed to have been implemented, because there are things which have not been legislated upon